Every single day since 1993.
Don't mess with me, Chop. What day is this?
January 2nd.
Damn it.
Groundhog Day.
The Bill Murray Comedy Classic celebrating 30 years.
Excuse me, where's everybody going?
To Gobbler's Knob. It's Groundhog Day.
And while all that repeated attention didn't necessarily put Gobbler's Knob on the map, they've been celebrating Groundhog Day there since 1887, the movie did boost tourism. Gobbler's Knob going from 5,000 to 35,000 visitors each February 2nd. That number according to Punxsutawney Phil's Inner Circle, which is a real thing made up of guys in top hats like Butch Philibert and Jeff Lundy, who told us about the lost language of groundhogese.
It's like an ear thing, nose. I mean, it's very complicated. All I need to know is shadow, no shadow.
How long did it take you to learn groundhogese?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm still learning.
In the movie, Phil Connors never spoke groundhogese, but Bill Murray did tell Dave Letterman about working with Chris Elliott.
Was that fun? Let me say this. It's not fun to work with Chris Elliott.
Really?
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you touch me.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Most of the movie's filming was done in Woodstock, Illinois, which now hosts Groundhog Day celebrations of its own. But no matter where you celebrate, make sure you give Groundhog Day a 30th anniversary watch today.
I'm happy now.
Groundhog Day is considered by many to be one of the best comedies of all time.
Trying to get the channel here. It's an ABC channel out of Los Angeles.
Bill Murray's ability to play the protagonist and the antagonist at the same time, and Bill said it's a problem.
Anyway, I couldn't get the. Well, let me see if I can get the channel because I have to give them attribution here. Let's go back to the beginning. 23 ABC out of Los Angeles. There you go. So okay. So there you go. All right. So it's Groundhog Day. The groundhog. I think it's. You say he didn't see a shadow, so we got 6 more weeks of winter coming up. And you might say, well, that's completely stupid. Why would you start your video with that? Well, I live here in Florida, and I'm going to tell you what, that groundhog predicts the weather better than our weathermen here in Florida. I can't tell you the number of times I go out for a hike with 20% chance of rain, and I mean, it doesn't just come, and okay, with a 20% chance of rain, you might get an occasional rainstorm or something. No, man, I've been in just pouring down situations for hours trying to get back to the car, going, well, this is a 20% chance of rain. Oh my God. Thank God I got out today for a hike. By the way, the ex-wife brought the boo dog over, so he's in the video today. Some people always comment, where's the dog? Where's the dog? Well, I only get him when the ex-wife lets me have him occasionally. We spent a wonderful day at the park. So let's get going on watching the world burn. Let's see. Oh yeah, so in Britain now they are finding people. Well, I'm not sure if it's 300 pounds or $300 for burning wood. So if you want to burn wood to stay warm in Britain right now, you can be fined $300. Good thing the globalists are in charge. They set this whole situation up. By the way, we're going to get into this story here in a minute, but Britain. The evidence is becoming pretty overwhelming at this point that they are the ones that blew up the Nord Stream pipeline from Russia, basically putting Europe into a freeze for the winter. But of course, the Russians are saying that they had U.S. help, and that's a later story. Boy, you think energy costs are soaring here in the United States? Oh my God, in Europe, they're going sky high. The globalists are getting their wish, huh? They're going to kill a whole bunch of Europeans. That's for damn sure. It's going to be terrible. This was an interesting fact that I found today: is that Russia has a higher GDP, or is predicted to have a higher GDP than Germany in the next year. This, despite the fact, and this is true because they just put on a 10th round of sanctions against Russia, that they are now the most sanctioned country in history, but yet their GDP is going to do great in 2023. So if you don't see the makings of a new world order, I think you better be paying attention. It's going to get interesting here. I don't see the U.S. being the empire that they have been. It might take a few years for it to fall apart, or it could happen very rapidly. I mean, when you study history, it looks to me like it's accelerating rapidly, let's just say. So then Ursula, the lunatic German leader, globalist, she went to Ukraine, and they had this big photo op, and she's roaming around with Zelensky, and she came out with the statement that Ukraine will be part of the European Union. Well, good luck to Ukraine. I wouldn't want to be part of this globalist European Union. It seems to me they're making all the wrong decisions, but that's just my slant on that. You do what you want. The U.S. announced today that we're gonna send another $2 billion to Ukraine. That's wonderful. People dying on the streets. We got homeless. We got fentanyl pouring across the border. Hundreds of thousands of Americans dying. We got human trafficking. Another attack on the power grid today. But yet we're going to give another $2 billion to Ukraine under the warmongering Democrats. The warmongering Democrats are going to pour more money into the war. And there's a promise of long-range weapons. And these new weapons that were given to Ukraine will have a range of 150 kilometers, according to what I'm seeing. So don't quote me on all these numbers. I just watch what I see and read, and I depend on my sources, which is redacted a lot. Some of this comes from redacted. Some of it comes from the Duran. You can always watch those channels. Some of it comes from Russian television. So, I just kind of try to put together just a daily report. I'm just one dude, man. One dude with a dog. One dude with the boo dog. All right, so, this was a huge report. I thought that, so now we are getting, there's reports, and this means that they're coming back in I don't want to say huge numbers, but significant numbers of coffins are arriving in the United States with flags draped over them. Now, these could be mercenaries, U.S. mercenaries. My guess is that these are U.S. troops that are fighting in Ukraine, basically dressed up as mercenaries and have been ordered to go there and die. Probably some of our special forces. That's just my guess. Okay, that's sheer speculation. But just the fact that there's reports now that coffins are arriving in the United States tells me that we are definitely in that war now with troops, just from what I'm seeing. All right, so Putin came out, and I think I reported on this yesterday, that the new mission that he's given his generals is he wants to push the Ukrainians back far enough that they can't shell the Donbass anymore. Because this has been going on for 12 years. The Donbass region has been under Ukrainian bombardment for many years. I know that you don't hear about that here in the United States, but NATO decided to make Ukraine the focal point of the whole world. Now the media is backing off, so you won't hear about these things. But if he pushes them back, but now with these new long-range weapons, there's going to be a very limited supply of these long-range weapons, so at least the artillery will no longer be able to hit the Donbass. On a completely separate topic, because I keep watching. I sometimes I get into the commercials, and I'm just like, what in the hell are these people advertising? And are people buying into these things? Anyway, there's all of these advertisements for all of these Credit Karma, or I'm not trying to diss anybody, but they're all saying that they can help you get your credit score up. My suggestion to you is don't go into debt. That's a hell of a lot simpler way than engaging all these credit helping agencies that are probably going to just take your money and do nothing. I'll give you an example, okay? My credit score, and I hate to say it, I don't want to reveal things about myself, but my credit score is 848 out of 850. Well, that's because I pay my debts. If I have a bill, I pay it. That's how you get your credit score up. Just pay your damn bills, man. And if you can't pay your bills, you got to get a side hustle. At one point in my life, I was working 88 hours a week, okay? But I was living with 6 people. Okay, as a young person, these are the sacrifices you're going to have to make to get ahead. And, anyway, I don't live with 6 people anymore, thank God. We already talked about the power grid attack in Los Angeles. People lost power there. So that's it for that page. So, yeah, we talked about this. I told you I'd get into more detail. So it's Sergei Lavrov. He blames the Nord Stream pipeline. It was in September of 2022, if you don't recall, when it blew up. Well, he blames it on the U.S., which doesn't make sense because later in the report, they're saying that the U.K. actually blew it up, but with the help of the United States. So I can see where they think that, the United States was the puppet master in charge of the UK to get them to do it, and so that we could claim that we didn't do it. So I guess that's how they're looking at it. There's this huge advertisement. It's getting back to advertising again, because I like to talk about these damn commercials. I mean, it's just ignorance, and I hope you're not falling for this stupid stuff. But there's this one commercial on right-wing radio. If you listen to like Dana Lash or I don't know, maybe on Sean Hannity, Todd Stearns, whatever it did, and it goes, "We have obtained a supply of Morgan Stanley silver dollars, and you must act now because there's only 50 left in stock." Well, there's only been 50 left in stock for the last 2 months. I mean, it's just so freaking ridiculous. But I noticed today, I was trying to, because I wanted to talk about this, and I was going, how are they getting away? That's false advertising. There's no way, if they only had 50, they would have sold out the first day. Because I know that people would rush in and be stupid enough to buy these Morgan Stanley silver dollars, or whatever. I mean, what they're advertising. And but the way they word it, I think it's like per person is what they're saying, that you could only get 50 per person, and that's how they're getting away with this advertisement. But just don't fall for it. The next thing on the news, I thought this was very, very interesting. It might have been Steve Turley that talked about this today, that CNN now has less than 450,000 viewers. There are people on YouTube, well, look at Joe Rogan. I mean, there are people on YouTube that just, CNN's, they're done, man. I mean, when you sit there and lie and lie and lie and lie, there's lying. Fox News lies. Okay, I'm going to tell you, they lied during the war in 2003, but they have just enough truth in there to keep the network going, like Tucker Carlson. I tell you what, I like him a lot, and I think he does and I like Greg. I like the new Greg late night show. He's funny as hell, man. I don't get much news from him. I just enjoy being entertained. He's got a real good sense of humor, and boy, I tell you, I don't know how he puts together such a comedic show. Greg Gumbird, yeah. So these are the things that you need to have a successful network. By the way, Chris Wallace, I don't know if you followed him. I remember back when he was dissing Trump during the election. They're saying that he's dead, man. He's got the worst ratings at CNN. He's even worse than Don Lemon. Holy moly. That's terrible. Oh, man, I can't imagine Chris Wallace being around in the mainstream media much longer. Going around the horn, North Korea warns of nukes. For some reason, North Korea, I guess they're feeling threatened by the United States. I think there were some military exercises that took place. So you see how we're getting into World War III? Okay, you got the war going on in Ukraine, that the NATO is fighting against Russia. Now you got the U.S. threatening North Korea. These are the death throes of an empire. So we're threatening them. Today, talk about, because China plays both ends of the candle. Okay, I will tell you that. So they've been funneling money to the Biden crime family for years, but they also burn the candle at the other end, and we're going to get into some China stories here. And now they're cozied up real close to Russia, so you can see how they're playing every side of the equation. I tell you what, man, the Chinese are smart people. But anyway, so I don't know what's got North Korea all fired up. They fired more missiles last year than in any time in their history, testing out their intercontinental ballistic missiles. And then of course the U.S. Gemini tactical nukes is coming to an end. North Korea well, I'm not sure if they have or they're saying that they've developed tactical nuclear weapons. And what a tactical nuclear weapon is that's a small nuclear warhead that you can use on the battlefield. Now, North Korea has known for quite some time that they could not fight a conventional war in South Korea and win. Okay, but with tactical nukes, they could take out, there's only, what, 30,000 troops, U.S. troops stationed in South Korea, I think. They could take out those 30,000 troops with tactical nukes and then overrun South Korea. Now, would that elicit a total destructive raining down of nuclear weapons on North Korea? Possibly. You never know, but then we've got tactical nukes. Maybe we'll just hit North Korea with tactical nukes. So anyway, it could escalate. I'm just saying, you know, these are things that the world, we're going through a really crazy time at this point in the world. The whole world is being realigned financially, militarily. It's going to be, may you live in interesting times. God knows how many times in my videos have you heard me say that I hate that freaking phrase. By the way, there was a report today, even while John Kerry's over cozying up with Xi in China, who knows on what he's doing, probably getting the Biden crime family some more money. But there was a Chinese spy balloon over top of the United States, and they were saying that they didn't want to shoot it down because they were afraid it would fall and kill some U.S. civilians. Or is that just the crime family or the corrupt U.S. government saying, let's let China spy on the U.S.? Because I did a video a while back that I talked about how if I were a Chinese agent, I would be Biden and trying to destroy the United States. So this could be more of the Biden administration trying to destroy the United States by allowing China to have the spy balloon over the United States. And then there was the last couple, I'll finish it off right here. There was a huge interview with the Australian, I guess, well, he'd served in the French Foreign Legion. This was a very experienced military and advisor, I guess, in Ukraine. And of course, they're not taking his advice. I tell you, the way he broke down the tactical, you can watch a couple of channels. I can't remember what they are. If you just do U.S.-Australian interview, you could probably, or U.S.-Australian Ukraine interview, you could probably find it on YouTube or Rumble. And he did it, you know, incognito with the deep voice. And but boy, I mean, the guy's knowledge of military, I mean, it was amazing. And he talked about a lot of the mistakes that the corrupt, Ukrainian command structure in their military has made, killing, well, hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian soldiers at this point. So anyway, I'm going to finish up with this because I finally got a great comment. I don't know if it's true, and I'm certainly not going to name this person, or but I mean, you know, he's on YouTube now, and I hope it doesn't affect him in any bad way. But he says, I'm from Mongolia. Lots of Russians live here. They are talking of going back to Russia and volunteer in the war. And then I'm summarizing the comment at this point. These weren't his exact words, but he said it's now clear to them that they are fighting NATO and the U.S. and not Ukraine. And so that's why they want to go back and help out their country. So it seems to me that even Russians abroad in Mongolia or even other places, they're all for the war. They know it needs to escalate. And in fact, his words were, Putin must escalate this war. So that's how the Russians feel about it, even in Mongolia. So let's get the Boo Dog on the video. Say hi, Boo. Say hi, Boo. Yeah. All right, guys. Peace out. Stay free. It's good to live in the free Republican state of Florida under the great leadership of Governor DeSanctimonious.